Coming up, the recently passed Excelsior Scholarship gives students a chance at higher education. But is this too good to be true?
Students will have to apply through the FAFSA, the federal aid application. And if they still have need after their TAP and their Pell Grants have been paid, the Excelsior Scholarship will pay for the rest of that tuition.
Now, from the EMC studio at Onondaga Community College, this is ONTV Update.
Good afternoon. It's Friday, April 21st. Welcome to ONTV Update. I'm Sam Prince.
And I'm Michael Aldridge. Syracuse firefighter Edward Ackerman has been charged in connection with a deadly hit and run exactly 1 month ago.
Police do not believe Ackerman was driving, but he is accused of tampering with evidence in the case. A Class E felony, according to Syracuse.com, this charge could carry a prison sentence of 3 to 4 years. His bail is set at $10,000 cash or $20,000 bond. Detectives believe Peter Rausch, a former investigator for the district attorney, is the driver who hit 18-year-old Seth Collier on March 21st. The teen died 2 days later, and Rausch is charged with leaving the scene of the fatal accident.
Another Russian military aircraft has been spotted flying right off the coast of Alaska. The latest sighting was just yesterday, but it's the 4th time in the past week, according to CNN.
U.S. fighter jets first intercepted 2 Russian bombers on Monday. The U.S. has conducted its own flights along the Russian coast in the past, so military officials are downplaying the interaction.
But a former State Department staffer told CNN this kind of cat and mouse stuff has been going on for a while now. He goes on to say Putin is trying to put the U.S. on notice that the Russians are everywhere and are back to expanding the limits of their military power.
While U.S. forces have not engaged the Russian bombers, CNN says they are taking notice of the recent spike in activity along the Alaskan coast.
One national study done by the University of Ohio states that 70% of college students are stressed about finances. Another study done by Harvard University suggests that the cost of college has nearly sextupled since 1985, and the total amount of debt held by Americans has surpassed $1 trillion.
Legislators across the country have been trying to come up with a solution to the rising cost of college, and here in New York State, they may have done just that with something called the Excelsior Scholarship.
The Excelsior Scholarship has made it possible for New York State residents to attend college tuition free. Well, almost.
I don't even get financial aid, and, I could really use it.
Nadir isn't the only student who will be left out. 21% of students in the central New York region won't be eligible for the scholarship.
As it relates to the Excelsior Scholarship, there are 3 numbers that you want to keep in mind: 30, 100,000, and 2 or 4. You have to have 30 credit hours completed within a year. You have to make less than 100,000, your family that is, and you have to finish your degree within 2 or 4 years.
The requirements on money, your family making under $100,000 a year, that's kind of ridiculous. They don't account for how many children they have to feed, where they live, different economic pressures, all the different things that you have to consider.
For many other students, including Nadir, there's some anxiety surrounding the scholarship.
Now, this might give an opportunity to, say, someone who's really impoverished or, living below the poverty line, but like the people who actually are seeking help in school, the people who are actually already here, what about them?
The OCC Senior Vice President of Student Engagement and Learning Support, Dr. Julie White, has been busy addressing the scholarship.
The minute we knew it was on the table, we started planning, and the minute we knew it was happening, we had meetings and we said, all right, what do we need to do to get ready? What do our students need to know? We've actually scheduled some information sessions and enrollment events coming up in May. We added those to the calendar that weren't previously on the calendar because we thought students and families are going to want to know.
Despite this support, Nadir and students like him remain skeptical.
Not having to worry about tuition costs and different things of that nature would really help me finish school. Like in theory, it sounds really nice, but I just doubt it. I just don't believe it.
Informational sessions regarding the scholarship have been set for Saturday, April 29th and May 20th. Students can sign up for these over at the Gordon Student Center and receive more information at the Student Help Desk.
For many college students, there are concerns about getting a job after college, for art students especially. Now we take a look at how art students at OCC are planning for the future. Students all over the world attend colleges in hopes of acquiring the skills they need to succeed in the profession of their choosing. However, many are skeptical that certain degrees are worth going for. Classes that deal with the arts are often dismissed and are seen as something that won't result in a job after college. But many students practicing in art-related majors might not see it the same way.
There was a photography program that I was very thankful to be a part of. Just going out, taking pictures, basically doing photo field trips 2 days out of the week. It's just like, hey, this is something I could do this for a living. I would be happy doing this.
Getting work in the field of art is a subject that is very complicated. A study conducted in 2012 shows that approximately only 10% of graduates with an art degree will make their primary income working in art. Additionally, around 40% of working artists don't have a degree. Going to college for art still has its benefits, as students have resources to help them hone their skills and point them in the right direction. Art and photography professors and faculty are trying to give their students a good picture of what their futures could hold.
I think there's a little bit of remedial work that I try to introduce in my classes, and it loosely comes down to one short word: think. Think about strange, arcane things, literature or movies or other things that you might think, well, how does that relate?
Artists usually like to think outside the box, and that applies to finding work as well.
I'd honestly like to start freelancing, just doing a little bit of my own stuff, some portraits, some wildlife photography, some black and white arts photography, fine art type stuff. Just a little bit of everything until I get it figured out which niche I'd like to fall into.
From art students on OCC campus to art students around the world, they're all looking for ways to draw up plans for the future. For more information about the many different art programs at OCC, visit sunyocc.edu.
OCC student government elections just ended for the semester, and ONTV Updates, Austin Sweeney takes a look at how the Council of Students work.
Student government was a big thing in high school, but did you know that there's one at OCC?
Student government is made up of 7 students who are elected by the general student body, and they are here to represent all students at OCC.
The tasks included for the Student Council are to make sure that all students at OCC have their interests, wants, and needs provided for, and having a representative at school meetings can help improve the school a lot.
I think it's easy for a lot of us to say, well, we're going to make this decision, and you don't ever ask a student, how would this impact you? What would it do? And so to be able to have somebody at the table who directly can speak to that makes a huge difference.
The election for this semester's Student Council are over now, but that doesn't mean students still can't help out around campus.
There are so many different ways for students to get involved. One of them is the Entertainment and Programming Board, and so that's students who get together and vote and decide on different activities. We have lots of different volunteer opportunities through the office.
To vote in the Student Council, all you needed to do was take a piece of paper like this and just write your name on it and the person you're voting for and drop it in the box at Student Association, and you're good.
Even though the election is over, students should be on the lookout for the next one, and they can help improve the campus by making their voice heard. At OCC, Austin Sweeney, ONTV Update.
For more information on student government, you can visit the Student Association Center and Gordon Student Center.
Coming up next, your weatherman Ben Vahey will be in with our 5-day forecast.
Plus, we will head out to Syracuse Hancock International Airport to learn about the weather effects of air travel. What should you do when your flight is delayed? That story and your weather up next on ONTV Update.
Being a transfer student can be a little difficult because going to any college transferring is difficult with all of your credits. As long as you go to a SUNY school from OCC, it's a little easier because SUNY goes with SUNY. It is a little difficult if you don't meet with the right advisor right away because you can end up taking the wrong classes. At SUNY OCC, they had a plan set out for you for what you needed to take to get your degree done. But at OCC, you really get the hands-on experience right away and have great teachers the whole time.
Coulter Library is currently under construction. But don't worry, we're still here to help you for all your study and research needs. We're expanding our study spaces by adding 4 more rooms and spreading our books out over 3 floors, making it easier for you to find exactly what you need. We're updating our library classroom to give you the tools and technology you need to get ahead. From helping you to that next assignment to giving you a place for lifelong learning. Call, stop by, or visit us anytime at library.sunyocc.edu. Explore, discover, transform at Coulter Library.
Autumn is a time of change, and Starbucks has a great selection to accommodate any craving you may have. That's why I'm glad to have a place like Starbucks at OCC. Try seasonal treats like the pumpkin spice latte, the salted caramel mocha, or even the chili mocha. Now I can enjoy my favorite Starbucks drinks any time of the day. Come find your favorite Starbucks drink in Gordon Student Center today.
If you're living in a dorm, a delicious restaurant-cooked meal may seem like a dream, but here on campus, it can be a reality. Come to the student-run bistro, where you can eat delicious food and support the students who prepare it. If you'd like to improve your culinary skills, you can sign up for the class next semester and be a part of the most delicious dining experience on campus. Treat yourself to a great meal while helping your fellow students move toward their future. Come to the bistro in Gordon today.
It's fall. It'll start getting colder. I can't get to the mall, and I need to get some warmer clothes to wear. Where can I go? The bookstore?
Yes, you found it. The bookstore. The bookstore has a wide array and more. Onondaga merchandise from hats to sweatshirts and sweatpants, the bookstore has you covered. So if you thought you'd only find school supplies and books, look again. Keep warm this fall and show your school spirit. Stop in at the atrium in the Whitney building or order online at onondagacc.bncollege.com.
Back to ONTV update. Ben Vahey is here now with your 5-day forecast.
How's the weather looking, Ben?
Well, Michael and Sam, according to the News Channel 9 Live Doppler 9 app, Central New York today expects some rain with a high of 60 and a low of 30. There is a 30% chance of rain, but I think it's still going to be a good day to go out as long as you bundle up. Now let's take a look at your 5-day forecast. Saturday it will be partly cloudy with a high of 54 and a low of 39. On Sunday it should be a beautiful day to go for a walk in the park and do things outdoors, as it will be sunny with a high of 60 and a low of 38. On Monday it will be cloudy as many of you return to work and school for the week with a high of 56 and a low of 37. On Tuesday it's going to be a wet one. It is expected to be a rainy Tuesday with a high of 62 and a low of 39. And on Wednesday, if you can get outside to do anything, take advantage of this full opportunity, because on Wednesday it will be sunny with a high of 71 and a low of 50. The weather can impact travel today, especially if you are flying for business or vacation. I went to Syracuse's Hancock Airport to find out more about how the weather can impact your flight.
Flying on an airplane can be both fun and stressful. But when bad weather strikes, it makes it harder for flights to leave from and arrive in Syracuse. Iowa resident Jim Dupree, a frequent flyer for business, has had delayed flights pretty often when he flies.
I'm from Iowa in the Midwest, where we get a lot of storms, weather like that. Typically you can go into Chicago, and I've had flights in Chicago that carry me to Iowa. They'll have a storm in Des Moines, fly me back, circle around and say, oh, well, no, now we can get you back to Des Moines. So it's kind of nice to get home, but also kind of a bummer to be delayed.
Dupree flies into and out of Chicago very often, one of the busiest airports in the United States. Getting stuck in Chicago because of weather can be a problem, especially if you fly for work and have to be somewhere very often.
If I'm catching a 10 o'clock flight to Des Moines, Iowa, and it gets canceled, I'm stuck in Chicago overnight. So if you're on a late flight and that flight's canceled because of weather, you're stuck. But you could be delayed in the middle of the day because your flight's delayed for mechanical reasons.
He wasn't alone. Syracuse resident Joseph Stoll, who just returned home from a vacation in Orlando, saw something scary as he flew out of Florida. He got out on time, but could have been delayed if this was near the Orlando airport.
Actually, as we got north of Orlando, we could see a couple of wildfires burning. So that's a concern in the area right now. We talked to people who are very concerned about the wildfires and some evacuations in the general area in some cases.
With the weather in central New York always having a huge impact on travel in and out of Syracuse and the connecting cities, never rely on the departure board behind me to see if your flight has been delayed or canceled. Check with your airline on your phone or on the website to see if it's been delayed or canceled before you come to the airport.
check with your airline, regardless of whether you think it's going to be canceled or delayed. I think just as a best practice, whenever you're traveling, go on the airline's website, give them a call, go on our website, flysyracuse.com, and check the status of your particular flight.
Syracuse Airport Executive Director Christina Callahan encourages travelers to plan ahead, as they never know when the weather will strike, no matter the city they fly from.
If you're flying into JFK or LaGuardia or Newark, you know, any time of year could be a little more challenging, so plan ahead.
Callahan encourages travelers to arrive at the airport at least 90 minutes before departure to allow enough time to park, check in, and get through security. And as the weather gets warmer, the airport will be busier, so plan ahead before you head out the door. To check the status of your flight out of Syracuse, visit flysyracuse.com. Michael and Sam, back to you.
Coming up after the break, Luke Peets joins us for his sportscast.
Also, we'll have the story of the dominance of OCC lacrosse. All next on ONTV Update.
You may have walked by Coulter Library and seen that we're under construction, but we're still going strong. We have over 200 computers, 10 study rooms, and a 24-hour chat service where you can speak directly to a librarian. Our vast and diverse research collection will meet your academic needs. And here at Coulter, you'll find social gatherings and events to help you connect with the community. Experience Coulter Library today.
Need a break from the same cafe food every day? Quit the assembly line and head over to the Bistro, a live restaurant ran by students in the hospitality program who cook you food to order and serve it restaurant style. Come make reservations at the Bistro today.
I think the remodeling gives it a good look. It also provides more open space for the students. Also, it uplifts the school in some kind of way to me. Kind of when I see how the format of the remodeling looks, it makes it look more pleasing, appealing. So that's what I like about the remodeling of the school. Compared to what I've seen the last 2 semesters, it's really come a long way and it looks really great.
I try and give them a little bit of an idea of what it's like to work as a designer. Hopefully the main thing they get is the work ethic, that it is a lot of work. It's art is one of the hardest things to survive in. You have to have the work ethic, and hopefully they get an appreciation for that, and as well as the information, the art and design and things like that. Try and prepare them for what's out there.
I think that we're really lucky to be able to serve the community like this. There's a lot of people that work really hard to support our program in the college and in the community, and I'm really grateful because I feel really lucky that I can be here and train people who really want to do this job. And they go out and I see them all over the place, and they're all out there taking care of people, and that's wonderful. We know you can succeed, and we want you to succeed.
Welcome back. Lacrosse season is in full swing, and OCC looks to have another great team this season. But with all the success they've had over the past few years, that only means added pressure on the current OCC team to keep the momentum going. The Lasers lacrosse team didn't come home last season with a national championship that they've won so many times before, and trying to avenge that loss is fresh on the mind of the players.
I think we embrace it this year. I mean, coming off of the loss last season, we're trying to get back to the winning ways and what worked. So
Kyle Leeming is backstopping this year's lacrosse team, and he thinks that this team has what it takes to go on another championship run.
Yeah, we're obviously we're scoring a ton of goals. We're deep this year. We're one of the deeper teams I've been around. So I think we put everything together. We have a good chance.
His coach, Chuck Wilbur, knows more than anyone that they will still need to improve if they want to get back to their championship ways.
I was just cleaning up everything. I don't think there's one specific stuff. It's
right now it's, everything's at a good place. We want it to be at a great place. I think you can still fine-tune your offense a little bit to make it a little smoother. Our defense just needs to talk and communicate a little bit better and make sure everyone's on the same page and when we should be sliding, when we should be helping each other. So it's just all the little things just to clean it up to make sure it's perfect when you're going into the playoffs.
Coach Wilbur doesn't have an easy task to keep such a dominant team for so many years, but he knows his players help him out more than anything.
You kind of follow the blueprint. First, we get a lot of talented players. That's number one. You get a lot of good players that can play at a high level. And then we put them in a system that we think these guys will thrive in. And they play unselfish lacrosse. That's obviously our goal every year. And usually it works itself out by the end of the year.
After getting off to a 9-0 start this year, they look poised for yet another championship run.
I've been here for a while now, obviously, so I've had a chance to be on a couple winning teams. So I've never really had an issue with it. You just kind of look in the locker room, you look upstairs, and there's championships, trophies, and All-Americans, and it's cool to have to strive for that.
Time will only tell the fate of this year's lacrosse team.
It's clear that Coach Wilbur's ability to adapt to fit the needs of the team that he has is what has been keeping them successful. Some coaches are stubborn and won't change their ways and often struggle when they get players that don't fit their system. Let's look at what that OCC men's lacrosse team is doing on the field. They went to Rochester last Saturday to play against Monroe Community College, and Monroe, much like many teams that play the Lasers, never stood a chance. OCC started off slow but boat raced Monroe in the second quarter, scoring 9 goals and eventually ending up with a 21-7 win as they continued their undefeated season. James Sexton lit it up with 5 goals and 2 assists. Next up for them is the sophomore game at home at 3 o'clock today, so watch this show and head on over to support them. On to women's lacrosse, who played on Wednesday against Erie Community College. It was sophomore day as the Lady Lasers dominated as they got off to a hot start, a 12-goal first half, and finished off Erie with a 17-4 victory. They improved to 7-2, led by Mackenzie Hayes, who had 4 goals. They get a 10-day break, and they don't play again until next Saturday at North Country Community College. We move on to OCC baseball as they had a doubleheader yesterday against Genesee Community College. 2 games, same score. Both 8-3 victories. With the baseball team will hit the road to face Finger Lakes Community College on Saturday. The Lasers softball team would not find the same success on Tuesday as they could not hold off the Generals' offensive firepower in both games. The first game, Herkimer County took 8-5 as Bailey Haddad was perfect at the plate, going 4-for-4, driving in 2 runs and scoring 2 runs herself. The second game, even more lopsided as Lacey Neely only needed 2 hits to drive in 6 runs, and it was plenty as the Generals would win game number 2, 12-2. They're back in action on Saturday with a doubleheader at home against Hopkins Cortland Community College. The NBA and the NHL are well into their first-round playoff matchup. Let's take a look how professional sports are going. There's a shocker going on in the East as the top-seeded Celtics lost the first 2 games at home against the Chicago Bulls. The Celtics look to get back on track tonight in Chicago. Now it's a surprise in the 4-5 matchup as John Wall is leading his Washington Wizards to a 2-0 lead over the Atlanta Hawks. They continue Saturday evening in Atlanta. The 2-seed Cavaliers, led by the dominant LeBron James, are squaring off with the Indiana Pacers. The Cavs are coming around yet again in the playoffs, and as they are up 3-0 against the Pacers after a huge comeback down 25 points last night. Game 4 will be Sunday in Indianapolis. The Milwaukee Bucks obliterated the Toronto Raptors last night to take a 2-1 lead. They look to get a stranglehold on the series tomorrow at home. Out west, the number 1 seed Golden State Warriors are taking care of business and look to do the same on the road in Game 3 on Saturday in Portland. The 4-5 series is close as the Clippers and Jazz are knotted up at a game apiece with Game 3 tonight in Salt Lake City. The always well-coached San Antonio Spurs dropped Game 3 in Memphis, but not to panic with them because Coach Popovich will have them ready for the next game. Game 4 will be Saturday in Memphis. The 3-seed Houston Rockets aren't having many problems with the Thunder team led by likely league MVP Russell Westbrook, but we'll see how that changes in Game 3 in Oklahoma City. The Stanley Cup playoffs have seen so many overtime games and 3 from this series alone between the young and flying Toronto Maple Leafs and the heavy favorite Washington Capitals. The Leafs aren't being slowed by their first playoff appearance in the full season since 2004 as they are tied with the President Trophy winners heading back to Washington for Game 5 tonight. The Penguins made quick work of the overachieving Columbus Blue Jackets, kicking them out in 5 games last night, and the defending champs await the winner of Washington and Toronto. In the Atlantic bracket, the division champs Montreal Canadiens are down 3-2 as the New York Rangers took 2 out of 3 in Montreal, including Game 5 in overtime last night. The Rangers can close things down Saturday at Madison Square Garden for Game 6. The 2-seeded Ottawa Senators have pushed the Boston Bruins to the brink with some help from the refs, and they look to take advantage by knocking out the Bruins tonight in Ottawa. There's an upset out west as the Nashville Predators reach their expected potential just in time as they sweep the #1 overall seed out west, the Chicago Blackhawks. This is the second year in a row the Blackhawks are bounced in the first round, and their Stanley Cup dynasty is looking like it's coming to an end after being completely shut down by Nashville netminder Pekka Rinne. Nashville has exercised their demons and will face the winner of the Blues and Wild. And the Blues themselves are looking at another shocker as it seems like they will steal a series from Minnesota Wild due to their goaltender Jake Allen. But the Wild won Game 4 to extend the series, and Game 5 is Saturday in Minnesota. The Pacific Division champs Anaheim Ducks made quick work of the Calgary Flames, who have lost 30 straight games in Anaheim, and sure enough, those struggles continued in the playoffs as the Ducks swept them in 4 games. The Edmonton Oilers are back in the playoffs for the first time since their Stanley Cup final run in 2006, led by 20-year-old phenom Connor McDavid. They went in the last night's Game 5 tied with the defending Western Conference champions San Jose Sharks. The game went to overtime, but didn't see McDavid get the overtime winner. It was unlikely hero David Desharnais, and the Oilers head into Game 6 on Saturday night with a chance to close that series out, and the winner of that series will face the Ducks in the second round of the playoffs. So, as you guys can tell, there's a lot going on. I mean, as a sports fan, there's everywhere you can look around, there's something going on for you to watch.
Yeah, you know, just looking at, you talk about the Spurs, you know, you think they're going to make like work in Memphis. I don't know. After their last game where the Memphis coach went off because they didn't get any calls, I think that Memphis is really inspired to go and play them. And I think that they might take this second game at home.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, and also you're going to go check out the spring game, SU spring game this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. They're looking like they should be pretty exciting this year.
Hope so. Hope Coach has them ready. We'll see.
Well, don't change that channel. After the break, we'll be recapping your weekend weather forecast.
First, we'll take a look at just how you can participate in Okra's Earth Day cleanup.
Library is good. Now they're building it. It's almost done, and it's good. You can use computers, you can use books over there. So it's good, like, to spend your time if you don't have class. You can do your homework. And in the learning center over here is good too. They try to teach you a lot of things. They understand where you come from, and they help you.
The best part about OCC is just having that one-on-one interaction with your professors that really help you out with tests, homework. It helps a lot. At the tutoring center, helps a lot. For this semester, I had to take physics, and one tutor helped me out a lot with that class. I would recommend OCC to people that really want a good environment to go to with smaller class sizes and have just the experience to go forward in college.
I originally came from Northern Virginia. I feel as if OCC has welcomed me into the community with open arms. I went by the Gordon building to meet with the staff at the front desk so they can help me. The main thing they did was help me transfer my credits, you know, it helped me get settled in. They also set me up with someone to take me around the campus. A lot of the buildings are close together, whereas in Virginia you needed a car to get from one end to another.
One of the very valuable mandates of the community college is that it draws the student population from the entire community and sees its real goal to embrace the diversity that's in the community and make sure that that's evident in the classroom. The characteristics of community college is diversity in academic background. Usually there's quite a lot of diversity. One of my favorite parts of teaching at a community college is that diversity.
My classes have a nice balance between doing your own work as an individual and working in groups. I find that most of my classmates are here to learn, and it makes it a nice balance when doing group projects. One of my favorite classes was web design, and it definitely opened up my eyes to what I can potentially do with that career. I think my classes overall are quite enjoyable. A lot of them pertain to what I'm actually wanting to learn, but overall I love it. You can really learn some great things here.
April 21st marks the annual Earth Day litter and cleanup and a chance to polish up the surrounding of our community. OCRA, an award-winning agency that oversees waste and recycling in Onondaga County, is holding a 2-day countywide litter cleanup today, April 21st through the 22nd. Last year alone, 7,200 county residents collected over 95,000 pounds of litter during the Earth Day cleanup. Though the registration deadline is passed, that doesn't mean you can't join in the cleanup. Take initiative by ridding our planet of waste and trash. To learn more about OCRA's mission, visit okra.org.
And Ben Vahey is back with the weekend weather forecast. Ben, what can we expect this weekend?
Well, guys, if you're headed out to NBT Bank Stadium to catch the Chiefs or just want to go for a walk in the park, tonight and tomorrow will be a nice day for it all. But you still might want to bundle up. Tonight in Syracuse, it will be partly cloudy with a high of 60 and a low of 40. Tomorrow it will be partly cloudy with a high of 54 and a low of 39. And on Sunday, gorgeous day to do anything outdoors, as it will be sunny with a high of 60 and a low of 38. So I'm probably just going to go for a walk this weekend, take advantage of the nice weather, especially on Sunday. Sam, what are you going to do?
Definitely going to head down to Onondaga Lake Park. Definitely have a nice 5-mile bike ride in. Definitely going to get out with Luke this weekend. We're going to go see the Syracuse spring game, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
And Mike, you?
What about you?
It's definitely nice to be out and about and just, maybe hang out with some friends and have some fun this weekend, especially because the weather's going to be so nice. What about you?
So you're going to catch any of the NHL this weekend, Luke?
NHL and NBA, I mean, there's playoffs all around. It's an exciting time to be a sports fan.
Thanks for joining us this week on ONTV Update.
Have a wonderful weekend, and don't forget to join us next week for another news-filled show. And most importantly, stay updated.